Hey, check out the new addition that we did to the garage here recently. Hey everyone, welcome back, or thanks for joining. It's been forever, it seems like, since I posted a video. And I wanted to share with you guys some of those updates and hopefully give you some ideas. Unfortunately, I'm horrible at doing like how-to videos and on some stuff, and it was just so involved and time intensive that I just needed to get it done. But I hope to have some more tractor videos out here soon though, as the weather gets nicer. Got a few little projects in mind out there, and I have a bit more time to take care of those. So I'll give you an idea here. The first update here, I did have the ceiling installed. And that was a big one, getting the ceiling installed inside the garage. That's going to allow me to do insulation. So here's kind of what the finished look of the ceiling is here. So you can tell the two spots right here I have for some ceiling fans, which I'll put those in here. Maybe I'll get to them this summer. They're not super urgent. The ceiling itself, I did pay a contractor to put that one in. It was just, it would have been too hard, and not having a lift handy, it just would have been very difficult. So I did pay a contractor to come in. I think it was 4 or 5 guys. They had 2 lifts, and they were able to knock it out in about 5 hours. Again, this building is 34 by 50. They are 16-foot panels. I don't know if you can see the seam. It's pretty hard to see the seam. I mean, they really did a good job. Cost for those that are interested, I had priced out the materials, and I had roughly $3,500 in it. Now, that's not like wholesale steel prices or anything. That's just going to a local lumber yard and ordering what we needed from there. So that would have been my cost to do it. I paid those guys $6,000 to do it. And that included, I had all my electrical done. So they had to cut holes for every outlet, pretty much everything you see on that ceiling. They had to remount the garage hardware, the door tracks. And they also, and I'll show you when I go up into the attic now, they installed baffles for insulation, since I am gonna blow it in. So they installed all the baffles for me, and that was included in the cost. So all in all, I didn't think it was a bad deal. And my back thanked me on that one. And like I said, they got knocked out pretty quick. There is and I'll show you that when I go in the attic. There is a hole, hatch, to get up in there. And I purposely had them put it in there just because of the next project here I'm gonna show you. So yeah, now onto the storage loft. And this was a bigger project than I thought. And this is one that I did tackle myself. I had a friend and my dad helped me just with a couple pieces as I was going through the project. I just needed to hand the thing here and there, but otherwise I worked on it quite a bit, and it's just very time intensive. And as I said in the beginning of the video, it was I just couldn't record it all. I'd work on it a couple hours every evening here and there, and just to get it all done. But it turned out really good. It's just a small little storage loft. Gives me some space underneath to continue, to put my stuff. And then we'll walk upstairs here in a second and I'll show you that. But overall dimensions on it, it's the width of the building. So it's 34 feet wide and roughly about 5 feet deep. So not huge, but enough to put some shelving or whatever else I need to on there. But I'll show you the underside and maybe some of the construction. If you have any questions, or hopefully it'll give you some ideas if you're thinking about putting one, in your garage, just a small storage loft, or maybe even bigger. This is how I did it. So construction wise, there are 6x6 beams post, you know, holding it up. I did notch them. I know some people say not to, but I notched them so they're sitting right on the beam. So all the force is directed, you know, straight down to the concrete. You know, they are anchored into the concrete. The concrete underneath here, when I had the concrete poured, if you watch my other videos, I think it's around 10 inches deep in those areas. So plenty of concrete strength. I'm not too concerned about it cracking, especially being a small loft. Not gonna be a ton of weight up there. 2 by 10, I guess you call it like a rim joist or ledger, whatever you wanna call it. And then 2 by 8 floor joists with all tongue and groove plywood. You know, you can see all the joist hangers. You can see I have some electrical up there too. So I do have a switch on each side. It's a 3-way switch. You can see it runs right there. I intend to put some shop lights underneath here and probably a workbench or something later on down the road once I get the walls finished. But that's kind of the gist of it. I did double up the front header there. You know, some people were using LVLs to, you know, take a post out or whatever. I just didn't really have the need. It was just too short of a loft, you know, depth-wise. And I have a little over 8 feet in between each post. And to be honest, like I said, I'm gonna put a workbench under here, maybe 2. But most all my tractor implements, they're on rollers anyhow. So I can wheel this stuff back and forth wherever I need to. Especially once I get some of this extra lumber out of the road here, I'll have a little bit more space. But steps wise, there are 3-step stringers, and you know, I did reinforce them on the back side a bit. It was 13 steps, I think, is what it is. So it's pretty high rise. I can't remember the exact dimension underneath, but it's real close to like 6'8" under. And then above, I think it's like 6'5". So almost split in the middle. It gives me plenty of headroom. And actually, to be honest, I've measured and put the tractor underneath here with the ROPS all the way up, and it will fit. It does not look like it at this angle, but you can see I still got room. So they will fit fine. I did reinforce the bottom of the step stringer there a little bit. Again, it was such a long run on the steps. It just needed a little bit more reinforcement there, just for flex. Kind of walk around here and we'll go upstairs here in a second. So, you know, railing wise, I wasn't exactly sure what to do. I just kind of found some ideas online, and I didn't want all the spindles, especially because I think I'm gonna paint this later, and I hate painting spindles. And really, it's just storage loft. It really just wasn't needed. It just needed to be functional and sturdy. You know, that was my big thing, and it's definitely both of those. So that's kind of what it looks like. So we'll take a walk upstairs here. And there is no flex at all in the steps. They're definitely enforced pretty well. That's kind of what the top side here looks like. So this first section of railing, it is fastened securely. The next 2 sections, I wanted to make removable. So if I'm putting any long or big stuff up here, or, you know, I can't quite get the path. My tractor, it's about 6 inches short of reaching all the way up there, and I knew that. But I can get a pallet pretty close, so if there's something heavy, you know, I can get it up pretty far where, you know, I can get it up here if I want to. But yeah, the railing's pretty simple design. It's really just, it's just these brackets that keep it from pulling back, so I can't pull back that way. And obviously I can't push forward because this is solid, so it's not going anywhere. And then when I want to remove a section, all you do is just slide it up. And you can kind of see it just slides out of its place on both sides. And then pretty much the whole section will come out you know, up to the next center support here. So like I said, that section comes out, and then this section will come out, and then that last section is still solid. So it gives me some options later on, you know, if I want to store some bigger stuff up here. I wanted it, you know, pretty solid structurally, so, and I pretty much accomplished it. You cannot tell the way that those slots are, that there's any give at all. So that worked out really nice. But yeah, you can kind of see the floor up here. It's all tongue and groove. Nice staggered the joints. So that turned out really good. And I don't know if you noticed already, but there are lights up here. I did install lights up here in the loft. And it was just for a little bit extra light, and they don't give off a lot. I did put a dimmer on it, which is kind of neat, so I can dim them down and just turn those lights on if I want to. So that's kind of the gist of the loft, though. I hope it gave you some ideas. I will say, you know, I tallied everything up, and I will tell you, you know, just my cost on all the lumber was around $2,600. Lumber's gone down. This is you know, 2023, spring of 2023. It's definitely gone down. Some of it's still expensive, especially like the plywood, for example. 3/4 inch tongue and groove plywood, I think it's around $45, $50 a sheet. So it wasn't cheap. And then the biggest expense is all the hardware, all the metal and everything in the hardware was just, you know, super expensive to buy. Bolts and nuts and screws, all that super expensive. But yeah, my total cost, for those that are wondering, is about $2,600. And that was just lumber, materials, you know, all the hardware, and actually electrical. So the 4 lights that I put up here, and then all the electrical that I did underneath that loft for future shop lights. So that's what you're looking at, and that's building it yourself. So I imagine, you know, you'd probably have, I always double it, so probably $5,000 to pay, you know, a contractor to come in and do it. And it was well worth it for me to do it myself. I mean, I enjoyed the experience, and I got to build it exactly the way that I wanted to, and, you know, see what works, and, you know, even what didn't a few times. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that part of it. I'll show you up in the attic here, kind of just shine a light up there, show you what that looks like for my next project here that I'm going to be working on here in another week. So I'll try to go up here. Yeah. I did box this out. They left the opening for me. I boxed out the rest of it higher, and that's just so because I'm doing blown-in insulation so that I can insulate all the way up to it. And then it's got a pretty good size opening. I can't remember how big it is, but it's not quite 3 feet by 3 feet, but a little bigger than most. But that's kind of what I wanted. But we'll kind of shine the light through here. So I ran the runner board all the way down. So that goes all the way down, which that's going to make it real nice for whenever I do the insulation. And if you watch one of my shorts, you can kind of see, maybe you can't right there. You can see I have marked on every truss 18 and 16 inches. I think I'm going to be somewhere in between there when I get done blowing all the insulation in there. But there was a lot of prep work that I had to do, and I'll show you some of it down below too. But those are the baffles out there. They did install those first before they put the ceiling up. One thing they did not do though is they did not shove any insulation or anything in there. And when you're doing blown, you got to put something in there to keep it from going out into your eaves, so, or into your soffits. So I got those out there. I have just some insulation laying here. That's over top of those can lights, or those recessed lights. They're IC rated, so I just threw some insulation, just some bats. That way if I need to take them out later, all that insulation won't come down on you when you blow it in. But yeah, everything's ready to go up here. I sealed everything off. So the next step is just to blow it full of insulation. But I'll show you what I did on the edges too, because, you know, since I don't have the walls done yet, you kind of have to close those in too to keep that insulation from blowing in there. But otherwise, we're ready to go up here. So for the front and the back of the building, because they had some pretty big openings, it's just how they frame the buildings. So what I did is I just put, this is just house wraps, all it is. I had some of that left over. So I stapled house wrap up front and back of the building. And then you saw up in the attic, I have insulation, just bats of insulation shoved in on top there. So that's kind of what that is. So those are all sealed up front and back. And you know, when I finish off these walls later on, that insulation is just gonna butt right up against that insulation, you know, right there. And the house wrap's breathable, so it's not a true vapor barrier. But I'll show you here on the end, or on the sides. This would be the sides of the building. It's easier just to kind of show you up here in the loft area. So this is how I reached the ends of the baffles actually to shove that insulation in. I was able to reach my arms up in there, shove it inside or underneath the baffles to kind of seal those edges, and then I shoved another piece just up underneath there. And you know, fiberglass blown in does not weigh much at all, so just the friction of it sitting up there is going to hold that in. And you're not going to have that deep of a, you know, on the edges of your roof like that with my pitch. There's not going to be that much, but that was a bit of work. You know, I had to go through the whole side of the building and do that in every area. So yeah, insulation wise, that's a project I'm going to tackle myself too. I got a couple of buddies that are going to help out, and we're gonna blow that in. We're gonna rent a machine, and stay tuned for that. I mean, maybe I'll do a quick video on that, just give you an outlook of, you know, what I thought the process was like, and if it was something I would attempt again. I've done cellulose before in, you know, houses. Fiberglass was just something that I opted for in this building. We have it in our house, and I think they're both very comparable product, and all the research I've done, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. Fiberglass is just a little bit less dusty, I guess, or yeah, be less dusty, because cellulose is just nasty to work with sometimes. So this shouldn't be too bad. I think it's going to be around 45 bags of blown insulation. So I think we can get it done one day, but stay tuned if it's something you guys are interested in. Or if you have any other questions about anything else that I've kind of went over today, just leave a comment. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. And if you guys like this kind of stuff, go ahead and hit like and subscribe on my videos. Helps me figure out what you guys like to watch. So if you like my tractor videos, like I said, I'll have some more of them coming up here in the near future. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks.